So, we just got Festival Collection in English, and it's definitely an exciting time, but over in Japan they already have D-BT02, already made a video talking about my first impressions of the set, been doing a bit of playtesting here on Twitch. You can see the lovely chat right here, just chilling, vibing. We gotta be like all the other big influencers, film some videos while streaming, right? So today, I wanted to take a little bit of time and look at the early prices for the set 2 cards in Japan, right? So there's specifically like day 2, I would say. The set released on, no, day 3 actually. No, day 2, it's Saturday. Sorry, my brain is like all over the place. So today is Saturday, we're recording this. This might go up on like a Monday or something, or like somewhere during the week. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. These like super early prices, and I think some of these will go up, and I'll kind of talk about my predictions of how much certain cards will go up. But the reason why I'm doing this in general is for 2 reasons. One, a lot of people ask me where can I buy Japanese cards, and we're gonna go over like good 5 stores for you guys, like online stores that actually sell. Only one of them ships worldwide, but the others can be bought. You can buy from them through forwarding services like Tenso and things like that. So it's pretty good. And on top of that, I also wanted to do this video because in some regions, like Europe for example, we generally like copy the Japanese prices like 1 for 1. It's usually not the day 1 prices, it's usually like the week 3, 4 prices. But I wanted to make this video to kind of like show you guys some resources for like where to get Japanese cards, and also at the same time just kind of like be able to highlight how things might look in English, but they also might change. So we're going to start off with a site that actually ships worldwide, but because of that they go out of stock very quickly, because a lot of people I think from Asia that play Japanese Vanguard but aren't in Japan actually order from them quite a lot, which is going to be Dragon Star. So let's get into it right here. Bam, you even get to see the nice little transition here. So as you can see, most of it is sold out, just because that's how it works. Yesterday morning, everything was in stock, and now it's all gone. So Dragon Star is a really well-known like chain of stores in Japan, but their online store, like, it does restock, so this will come back, but the prices might change by the time it comes back, right? So let's take a look, right? Dragon Empire, first thing already we see Overlord. I'm gonna do like quick conversions for you guys. Basically 10 bucks, like 9 bucks, 9 USD. And then we have Arena Elgar, which is like 12, which is basically the most expensive triple. Like Verena Elgar is the most expensive triple in the set at the time. But of course you can see stuff like, everyone's favorite Leonard is only 4 bucks. Only 4 bucks for Leonard, which is pretty interesting. And the the triple rare for Dark States is 90 cents. So it's not super high in comparison, but we have other stuff like Brancade. Both triples are like 4 bucks. The Keter booster, what's his name again? Referusosu. I can't remember how to pronounce his name in English. Referusos or whatever, but 3 bucks. Then looking down here as well for more Keter, PBD. I expected PBD to be pretty high because of the nostalgia hype, but 6 bucks, pretty standard. And then both Stoicheia triples, both the Minol as well as the Headhunter are like 2 bucks. It's pretty good. It's actually like a fairly good price. Of course, keep in mind these are out of stock, so that's something important to keep in mind. SPs, you can quickly look through them. I often look at the ones I care about, like Verena forms, Brancade stuff. It's pretty decently priced. Of course, I expected Dragonic Overlord SP to be like 10,000 yen, so like 100 bucks. I expected it genuinely to be like 100 bucks. Same with PBD, but they're like 50 and 60. It's not as bad as I thought. Not as bad as I thought. So let's quickly take a look at doubles here, just to give you a good impression of how things look. So here, more SPs. All right, here we go. Doubles. Look how cheap everything is on Dragon Star side, right? Like I think the most expensive doubles are like $1, which is like Damari, the Bruce Triple Drive Enabler, Thumbelino, which is an insane card for Orphist, and then the Column Mover for Stoicheia, the crazy as hell order for Zorga, and of course the Intelligence order for Magnolia. So pretty cheap. Of course, a lot of stuff is out of stock, but that's the kind of prices in Dragon Star. But it is a store with a lot of stuff out of stock. So let's now take a look at another store that we're gonna kind of like go up in prices, right? I'm gonna explain why some of these are also like you know, going up in price too. So let's take a look at the next one. All right, so this one is called Grand Panda Canyon. This is a store I personally like quite a lot. I buy quite a lot of Fire Emblem Cypher from here over the years, but of course they started to sell Vanguard ever since overdress came out, which that's a really big thing, by the way. If a Japanese store, especially a chain, like a big online store, picks up a card game, it's generally a big deal, especially if they didn't handle it before, and especially with Vanguard, with something that had a pretty like long track record, to be like picked up by a big store is good news. Like, right, that's something I saw at the start of overdress and I was like, this is cool. And their prices are pretty nice, right? Both Overlord and Verena Elgar, basically $10. Pretty nice price for what it is. I definitely think Overlord will be about $10 in English too when it comes out. I would expect that. Elgar, I would see 15. I would see like 15, maybe 20 in America. America prices can be pretty crazy. But here, keep in mind, look at how things are in stock, right? So Overlord and Elgar are still well in stock for $10 each. We have the Crimson Expector at $1, but then Mr. Leonard, $4, 0 in stock. Not a single copy in stock. So I think this card will go up. I think Leonard will probably be like Mine, where it started out at like $2 and go up to like 10. That's what happened in Japan. It basically ended up at like 10, $8. Then of course Alviderd. This card is so good, literally like makes Orphis insanely good. $4 and plenty in stock still. Of course, we have the Perio Turquoise, also $5. Like generally, like it's interesting that the police card is more expensive. Police did get much better in this set too, so but still plenty in stock for $5. PBD for 7, the booster for 3, and then again we see like both of the triples here for $2. I'm not gonna go over the doubles again. They're basically like generally the same price. In terms of rares, there are some rares that like are more expensive. I'm just curious about the fronts. I think they're probably like $1 each. I think that's kind of expected because those are like the rares that are definitely like more sought after, I would say, in general. So let's take a quick look at it. All right, here we made it to some of the rares. I think you can see actually the fronts aren't even that bad. They're like 80 cents compared to like the other rares are like 50 cents. So not bad, definitely not bad. So Grapan, as I said, like generally like a more affordable store. They usually sell things for cheaper. They do match prices, like if the market trends, especially if they go completely out of stock of a certain card, like for example the Leonard, if the next time they restock, it's probably going to be more expensive, right? If it's the only triple rare that went out of stock, that means something, and that's a trend we're going to continue to see as we go along. So up next, Amenity Dream, very popular store. If you've ever been to Japan, you've probably been here. They do run a lot of tournaments. They have a lot of different, like, they have Amenity Dreams all over the place, and so it's pretty big. It's pretty big. So yeah, let's take a look at Amenity here. Of course, it's a pretty big chain store, and of course their prices will be a bit bigger because they're quite famous, so they can get away with, like, it's basically the way that it works in Japanese stores. Like if a store is really popular, they can get away with more expensive stuff because they're like, their competition, like if somebody is a brand new card game player, these are some of the first stores they'll ever see. So they generally can get away with more expensive prices because, you know, the smaller stores, they have to lower their prices because they're not even seen, like they're not even on the radar sometimes. So for them, it's a different story, right? And also online stores generally price things a bit higher than physical stores. So that's another thing that's pretty important to keep in mind. So looking at Hobby Station here, pretty, you know, consistent trend. Overlord at about $10, Elgar 12, 13. This is cheap. This is like the same as like other sites, but again, the turquoise is a little bit more expensive than the Alviderd, which is pretty interesting. This is like the same everywhere. PBD kind of similar. So look at the cards that are out of stock here, though. That's really interesting, right? Because we have the Leonard, of course, that's out of stock. Pretty expected. Everyone knows that this card is really good. The Daminal, for some reason, out of stock. That's kind of surprising. And then the Dogachirashi. So actually from the double rares, we've been able to notice sometimes that Dogachirashi is like the most expensive double rare in the set. Like, you don't see it here, of course, because it's out of stock, but after that, it's the Pridefall Dragon that is the next most expensive double rare. We can actually go back to the last side too to check that, but Dogachirashi here out of stock too, seen as a really good card in Nirvana, and I also really like it as a card in Nirvana. But let's take a look at it again in Gurapan. All right, so here we go, right? Look at this. Look at this. The double rares on Gurapan is like 100, like $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, and then Dogachirashi is $2.50. No, sorry, it's 3. It's 3. It's $3. It's by far the most expensive double rare in the set, which is interesting, right? Pridefall follows up after that, and then we basically have the 2 Stoichia double rares, which for some reason are pretty hyped. But yeah, Pridefall is also pretty big, but Dogachirashi is the most expensive double rare in the set, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, it's also good in Overlord, right? So it's like one of those like good generic cards that provide you with soul, and especially like in Nirvana, which is, again, Nirvana is really popular in Japan. You have to keep that in mind. Like how Bruce is really popular in the West, Nirvana is really popular in Japan. Like we've seen it from a lot of events. Sometimes, you know, there'll be like a big event in Japan, 16 people entering with Nirvana, only one of them will top, but 16 people enter with Nirvana and it will be the most, like, second most popular deck. It's popular. Like, I also get it. I love Nirvana. I think it's a super cool deck, really fun, beautiful art and everything, you know, Digimon Shinka and everything is great, but Togashirashi here is, you know, the point to take away is it seems to be the most expensive double rare for now, and I think it should stick. Like, the only things I could see surpassing it are like this, and maybe this. Those are like the best double rares in my opinion, together with Togashirashi here. So also this, I guess, but I mean, it's for Eugene, so that's a different story. Also, we haven't really had time, or like we didn't like pause to talk about DSRs yet, and so the DSRs for this set are looking pretty similar to like the kind of like the price that they settled on in English. So the prices that they settled on in English is like Trickstar is about 150 and Nirvana is about 100. They do tend to keep falling lower, and a lot of people, myself included, get them for a lot less if you have the right people, the right connections. But Bruce DSR is 130 bucks. For a DSR, it's not too bad. Bastion is 190. That's still cheaper than the on-release Nirvana. On-release Nirvana was like, no, on-release Trickstar was 250. On-release Trickstar was 250, so it is cheaper. And so my heart is definitely hoping that this trend continues when Seraph Snow comes out. Please, would be cool. Would be cool. All right, let's move on. All right, pushing myself up here, we're gonna look at Big Magic. So I think a lot of people know Big Magic, Big Web. So some lore for the, you know, the card gamers that live in Japan. I think you'll know this really well. When you're looking for cards in Japan, for any card game, not just Vanguard, if you're looking for cards for any card game and you can't find them in any single store, your last resort is Big Magic, because Big Magic will have everything you need, but they will price it up. Generally speaking, their prices are a bit higher, but we're seeing here that they also have some exceptions, especially when the set just comes out. So you can see here, like, they are a store with Leonard in stock, right? As I said, this store will have stuff in stock. If anything, I'm surprised Togashirashi here ran out. I mean, the price is really good for what it is, right? So the price for Togashirashi is pretty good, so I guess it makes sense it ran out, but I'm sure they're going to reprint really fast. The Hollow Eugene support also ran out, which is interesting. But yeah, so looking at this here, 9 bucks for the Overlord, 12 bucks for the Elgar. Everything else is pretty like standard to what we've seen, but we finally know like the price of Leonard might not be 3 or 4 bucks. It looks more like 6. Will it continue climbing? We're gonna find out, but Leonard is definitely, you know, arguably the best card in the set, and definitely quite hyped up, but still, Elgar holds that #1 spot, and I'm always surprised by PBD being this cheap, which is cool, If these prices can translate to English, that'd be really nice. And then the final site that we're gonna take a look at is Yuyute. So Yuyute is my, like, it's one of the card shop sites with the nicest UI, so I always like looking at it just like to see pictures and stuff. So let's go down to triple rares here, and of course, Yuyute is also known for pricing things up, so you'll notice that this is probably the, you know, most expensive site we've looked at so far, with Overlord at 15 or 14 depending on how you want to round it down. Of course, Leonard is in stock, and the circle here means like basically plenty. Like, they have so much in stock they don't need to write a number, because you'll see here for SPs they have specific numbers in stock or they're out of stock, right? But when they have a circle, it means they have plenty in stock. They have more than enough. So here you can see, you know, Mr. Leonard is like 7 bucks, 6 bucks. It's also the same price as Alviderd. Are they catching on? Are they catching on? If so, then this also makes sense, but I think it is also just Yuyute. Like, Yuyute, you have to also understand, is a really popular store. This store is really popular, and therefore the prices are also going to be, they can get away with higher prices. That's just how it is. So yeah, this is basically like also the double rares here. Togashirashi out of stock. Another store where Togashirashi is out of stock. Probably, again, the most hyped up, the most expensive double rare in the set. So, you know, Nirvana bros, it'd be like that. You know, fellow Nirvana bros, we can't have everything. So yeah, this is, I think, a pretty good impression of what the general pricings are. Overall, Elgar is the consistently most expensive triple. The Leonards are out of stock everywhere, for the most part, except the stores that are pricing it up already. And then, of course, Overlord, generally around 10 bucks. Like, this one is an exception. It's generally around 10 bucks. And then Phantom Blast is like 6 or 7. I think this store is a bad one to end on. Let's go back to Grappan. Grappan is nicer. So yeah, there we go. I think Grappan's, except for Leonard, everything else is pretty accurate. This is kind of like what I expected to look like in like week 1 in Europe. I wouldn't say so much about America. Maybe Yute's prices will be closer to America, but this is what things are looking like in Japan. This will probably change a lot over the coming weeks. It'll be nice to revisit. If you want to see it revisited, then check out my Twitch. I'm probably not going to be doing another video about this, but we do like to kind of take a look at like how JP prices are evolving in Japan before the release of a set in English. So if you want to find out more about it, if you want to take a look at something like this, then come through. Check out the Twitch, twitch.tv/DifferentFight. You know, got all these cool people. Look at the people in chat. You know, they're carefully listening. They're taking notes, so they can't type, you know, when they're taking notes. It's pretty hard, but lots of crazy people, lots of amazing people here in the chat as well, just vibing. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good way to take a look at the early pricings for overdress product. And of course, I think that's basically all I really wanted to say. So pretty interesting. Hope you guys got something nice out of it. You know, it's definitely pretty cool to see the early prices, especially, you know, certain cards like Leonard definitely being kind of like going out of stock pretty quickly in some of these stores. So very nice, but that's going to be basically it for me today. We might revisit this at some point, maybe not. I generally don't like to do market watch videos and stuff like that, but I think for when a set releases, looking at the early prices, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, there you have it. That's going to be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.